Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Driving the Line, your sports betting brand of record. I, of course, am Jonathan Zaslow. I'm in the driver's seat this morning again for Coach. But don't worry, the Coach is going to be joining us coming up for a few minutes. He's got a little break in the action there as he's doing the PGA Tour play-by-play this week. So we will get to Coach. And, of course, all of our friends will be joining us on the show as usual today. A lot going on between the NBA, college hoops. We got soccer. We got the National Hockey League. But most importantly, we are here to get the winning plays, and everybody makes the money. So let's get to our recap from yesterday. And as you can see, that's a lot of green check marks there. I mean, look, it's real easy to point out the X's. There's only 3 of them. I'm going to need both. I didn't bring my abacus with me, but that looks like a lot of green check marks there. I mean, everybody had winning days, it looks like. The crew had a winning play yesterday, so everybody was happy. And that, of course, brings us to our pal, AB, who is here with us. Good morning, Allan Bell. How are you?
Good morning, Zaslow. Doing fantastic, my man. How we doing?
I'm good. So how about that? Yesterday's one of those days, right, where everybody's so happy. We all got a bunch of winners. We wake up this morning, we're all in a great mood.
Hey, we are, man. Absolutely. Look, the crew is just coming through all week long. Got to give a shout out to them. Also, Big Cheesy, well, happy birthday there. Michael Knox, happy birthday as well, buddy. So, yeah.
All right, very good. Now, tell everybody, of course, we got a lot of stuff going on Driving the Line and ways for everybody to be a part of the show. Go ahead, AB.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, we have our, premium portion of the brand, and that's exactly what it is. You get your own betting show and Shoot Your Shot, which we will have version 3, episode 3 coming this Monday. You get a daily exclusive of more picks. Nick Mosley, welcome to the crew right there. Excellent decision, my friend. Thank you. Also, special guest shows. You get Howie Schwab's deep dive analysis on college basketball with March Madness coming up. Man, you get it all, dude. Plus, so much more coming. I know Coach has some live shows coming for next week and throughout March Madness. So, yeah.
So the best part, of course, the best part of being part of Driving the Line is you get to be part of the crew. Everyone, we're all in it together. It's our favorite part here. And that means we got to get to the crew play of the day. We got some options here, AB. What's on tap?
Yes, sir. All right, so we have 2 from college basketball, 2 in the NBA. First off, Arizona -9.5 or Washington State -6.5. The only 2 ranked teams in action tonight. And then the big showdown in the NBA, the Celtics against the Nuggets. Celtics +1.5, Nuggets -1.5. Those are your 4 options. Poll is live in the chat now. Vote, and we will update at the end of the show.
Love it, AB. Love when we're all in it together, and especially on days where we all end the night a winner together. Okay, so there you have it. That's how we get the show started here. Let's get to all of our picks. Yes, all right, let's get this show started. How about that? We got Chris Bassett joining us again 2 days in a row. Happy to have you on board, Chris. There you go. And, of course, we got the coach. Coach is coming at us from the PGA Tour. You got a little bit of time to check in with us. I don't want to waste any time here. Coach, let's get right after it. What do you got?
I kind of feel like I'm being Wally Pipp just a little bit. You're such an amazing host, as you always are, Z-Man. I appreciate you sitting in. Now, we only have a few minutes here, but I got to tell you, I had to step in today because we are calling the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Is there any other show on planet Earth where we can be on ESPN Plus, calling the PGA Tour, and then we come on for our own show too? No, there's no other brand like that. That's what we do here at DTL. Now, I got 2 big plays for you because I got to tell you, this morning, the rough is about coming up to people's knees. It is absolutely difficult beyond comprehension. So I got 2 big plays. These are round 1 plays. And I know, guys, I said I wasn't going to do any more round 1 plays, but these are very, very important. Jake Knapp. The last 3 weeks, he's been dynamic. He's won in Mexico. He was a T4 last week. He was a T3 in Farmers. What does that mean? On really difficult golf courses, he plays well. So I like him plus money, plus 110 over Justin Thomas. Then the other one, ball strikers, Corey Connors. He's one of the best ball strikers on tour, minus 130 over Eric Cole, the reigning, defending, undisputed PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, but I don't know if he's long enough to really compete on this golf course. So I love those two plays today. And I got to get running back into the studio. We're live on ESPN Plus, but I know you guys are going to be talking about the big news that just broke. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. We're going to be doing a short. We're going to be doing videos on that later today after I get done with the golf. But big time news all over the place. Also, don't forget, we've got a video with Grisham, who's calling Anthony Joshua, and also Francis Ngannou tomorrow. He's part of Driving the Line and the crew. So we got everybody right here. Gentlemen, continue to do what you do. I'll see you guys on ESPN Plus. Be good.
There he goes. There he is. He's gone. Off he goes. He's got to get back to ESPN Plus.
I like that he was whispering.
No
yeah, that shows. Yeah, he really is around golf.
Well, you know what? It's funny, AB, because I would have asked Coach if he had another minute, but clearly you see he's got to get back to ESPN Plus. You know, with the gambling so prevalent in sports today, all right, and that's why we're all here, obviously, on Driving the Line. I wonder how aware of all the odds the golfers are, because you're only betting on individuals in that sport. And I know, obviously, you could do all kinds of player props, NBA, NFL, whatever. But for the most part, you know, we've all known that you're betting on teams. That's always been the case up until the last few years. I wonder, AB, like how involved are the golfers in knowing about all this stuff?
So I'll say this. Anyone that I've ever been around that is really good at golf, and, you know, I'm not saying that I hang around with PGA pros like that, but just people who are very in tune. They're aware of everything. They're aware of blades of grass. They're aware of the wind. I guarantee you these guys know and see exactly where they are. Now, we're not saying anything nefarious, right? But it's not illegal to know. And every golfer I've ever been around knows. I'll be the old story of Jack Nicklaus at Augusta. Like, all right, you know, you're in the, you know, par 5, you're 280, 282. Well, which one is it? Right? Like, I mean, they're that in tune with all of it. So, yeah, for sure.
Chris, let's get to your picks for today, man. You did well yesterday. What do you got for us on tap this evening?
Yeah, we'll go back to the NBA, another player prop. We got Jimmy Butler against the Mavericks tonight. I've got him over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Yeah, he's hit this in 4 of his last 5 games. A lot of books, when I was looking at this earlier, had this line at like minus 120, 125. FanDuel's got it minus 104 earlier. That's where I picked it up at. Great value there. Back to the NHL, which has been really good for me over the last 3 times I've been on the show. Panthers Flyers over 5.5. Most books have this at 6.5. So again, a little extra juice for that 5.5. But these guys, Florida's 3 out of their last 5 going over this total. The Flyers are 4 out of 5, and then head to head, these guys are 4 out of 5 over this total as well. My last play, a little bit high at minus 220, but Nashville Predators first period over 0.5 goals. They've scored 30 goals in 33 first periods this year so far, whereas Edmonton's given up 37 in the first period when they're on the road. Now, minus 220, I'm going to play it now, but I'll most likely also look at this game live and try and get a better line at it as well.
Chris, you are speaking my language with the Jimmy Butler prop there, with the Florida Panthers there. I mean, I'm dialed into both of those tonight here in Miami. Excellent job out of you there, Chris. AB, what do you got for us tonight? What are the winners? Come on now.
All right, so first off, our man Glenn in the chat, best of luck to your daughters today in the NCAA Track National Championship pole vaulting there. So we're all pulling for you on that one. As for picks, one parlay for me. NBA threes parlay, put these 3 together, plus 140. So you have Nikola Jokic, 1+3. Jimmy Butler, 1+3. Michael Porter, 2+3s. That's all we need. Those 3 together, plus 140.
Also want to make sure we point out Chris's Jimmy Butler play over 34.5. That's points, rebounds, and assists. Like Chris said there, over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Also, not to interrupt you, Chris, dude, I felt so bad. You got burned on that LSU, dude, first half last night. You had the under 76.5 comes in at 77. Oh, my God. Dude, I felt for you, man. I was watching it like, Jesus.
Yeah. Hey, you know, it is what it is, right? We celebrate them when we win by that hook, and we got to take that L when it happens against us. But, yeah.
Tough, man.
Now, of course, our pal Howie Schwab, he always sends in the picks, even when he's not on the show. And Howie's got 3 for us here. Canisius plus 8.5. Iona -7. Cleveland State plus 8.5. I mean, where else are you getting those schools and that advice other than our pal Howie Schwab? And here's what I got for you tonight. Couple NBA plays, both in the same game. The marquee game tonight, it's Nuggets and Celtics. I got the Nuggets at home -1. Some places you're seeing 1.5. I got it at -1. Look, obviously they're playing the Celtics, who come off of blowing a 22-point fourth quarter lead. Doesn't matter to me. I think the Nuggets are the best team in the NBA, and if they're at home and only laying a point, I don't care if it's a back-to-back. I don't care what day of the week it is. I don't care who they're playing. Nuggets -1, I'm going to take every single time. It feels like an opportunity you don't get very often. I also want Nikola Jokic triple-double plus 145. Jokic is excellent against the great teams because he knows he needs to do it all against the great teams. So a night like tonight against a Celtic team that's going to be very motivated, I love Nikola Jokic to get a triple-double this evening, plus 145. That's what I got for you tonight. So there you go. Those are some picks, but also we got to bring in our other pals, all right? Jacob and Charles, they got some plays for us tonight as well, yes? There you guys are. Hello, Jacob, Silent Assassin, Charles Michelle joining us also. Jacob, you doing all right this morning?
Yeah, a little bit extra long on the silent part to start, but yeah, great morning. Crushed it last night and excited to be back to do it again today.
Charles, how you doing today?
Great. I hope you as well, Zaslow.
Of course I'm doing great. I'm here in South Florida. What are we talking about here? All right, let's get to some picks here. Jacob, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, my first play, I'm going to Europa. I have a bonus Europa play. Charles and I have a full Europa League episode out right now. Make sure to watch that for the afternoon slate. But I have a bonus play for it. I am on Benfica versus Rangers, both teams to score yes. Rangers scored in 4 out of their 5 European games so far. They have scored in their last 5 games overall. Benfica has scored in 3 out of their last 5, and 9 out of the last 10 games for Benfica have seen over 3. So I think we see a lot of goals in this game. And then I also have a 2-leg parlay. I'm on Ajax, Aston Villa, both teams to score yes, and Olympiacos versus Maccabi Tel Aviv over 2 goals. Ajax has seen both teams score yes in 8 out of the last 10, both on 11-game win streaks. Both of these teams are scoring a lot of goals. I think we see goals in Ajax versus Aston Villa and Olympiacos versus Maccabi Tel Aviv. Both of these teams score a lot of goals in their domestic leagues, and I think we can definitely see at least 2 goals here. Olympiacos won their last 7, and Tel Aviv are unbeaten in their last 5. So I think we see competitive games of both and a lot of goals. So that pays plus 117 on that parlay.
I mean, I normally don't know the pronunciation for half the teams that Jacob gives us, but I know what a green check mark looks like, and you're constantly seeing it next to those picks that Jacob has given us every day here on Driving the Line. Charles, what do you got for us?
Yeah, we're going to start out in the Europa Conference League, Ajax and Aston Villa. This is a matchup of the Eredivisie and Premier League that has the makings of a true barn burner. Although Ajax is not as formidable as in seasons past, the Dutch Giants are still a dangerous side, especially at the Johan Cruyff Arena, where they average 2.17 goals domestically, and 3 of their 4 Europa matches have totaled 4 or more goals. Aston Villa are the favorites to win the Europa Conference title, and the Villains start the round of 16 winning 6 of the 8 European fixtures, while Unai Emery's squad have produced 19 total goals over that span. Ajax will certainly put up a fight in Amsterdam, but over the course of 90-plus minutes, Villa should have too much firepower. But I'm staying neutral and just backing the over 3 full-time goals and Ollie Watkins, anytime goal scored, to bag one for Aston Villa. And then lastly, we have Union SG and Fenerbahce. This final match should be more competitive. Union SG entered the final 16, winning 5 straight in all comps, and have only lost 1 in their last 21 overall outings and scored at least 1 goal in 21 straight. Meanwhile, Fenerbahce has won 11 of the past 13 in all competitions, and the Turkish side have won 8 of their 10 European matches this campaign and amassed 25 total goals. I expect Fenerbahce to leave with at least a draw and both teams to get on the scoreboard. So I'm going to back both teams to score and Fenerbahce double chance, meaning if there is a draw at worst, you win half your wager as well.
All right. Let me tell you something, guys. That is a deep dive into soccer if I have ever seen one. But like I said, you've seen a lot of green check marks next to those plays. Jacob, Charles, excellent job. Don't go too far. We're going to bring you back later on in the program here to make sure we recap. All right, guys? So now it's time to educate and entertain. Tell you, I love the Educate and Entertain theme song. It's one of the highlights of it's right, Chris. It's a good theme song, you know.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, it gets me going. I'm ready to rock.
Maybe I get it as my ringtone. All right, so it's important for us to remind everybody, make sure you hit that like button, all right? How you're watching us, youtube.com/@drivingtheline, of course. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, all that good stuff. Am I leaving anything out there, AB? That's what helps the algorithm, and then everybody makes the monies, right?
Absolutely, man. That's what helps the whole thing. Like our man Scott in the chat says. Hey, what up, bro?
So we gave you the picks for the day. We'll update the cruise play of the day coming up. Everybody knows that. And we'll also hit you back in a few minutes and recap the picks. But now it's time to educate and entertain, where we go over some of the big stories in the world of sports here on a Thursday. So first up, guys, the NFL's king. We know this, all right? And every day it seems now this week, because it's the big free agency week, we got the franchise tags. And sometimes you get a little bit stunned by some of the names that wind up getting released. Well, yesterday, the Buffalo Bills purged their roster, it looked like. I mean, if you were on Twitter, Adam Schefter is just tweet after tweet after tweet of guys the Buffalo Bills are getting rid of. And some of the bigger names, Jordan Poyer, center Mitch Morse, Deontay Hardy, Tre'Davious White is going to be a post-June 1 cut. So they're getting rid of a lot of guys because before the day started yesterday, they're around $40 million over the cap. So my question to you here, Chris, is how does this affect Josh Allen? Josh Allen, is he an elite quarterback? Is he not elite quarterback? I feel like we're going to find out when the Buffalo Bills have to purge some of that talent.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's one of those guys, he has all the tools, right? But it's like a decision-making late in the game that sometimes affects it. I think the biggest thing for Josh Allen is going to be losing Mitch Morse. I think it's been the center almost his entire career, I think. And so now you've got a new guy under center. I think that's probably one of the biggest things for him. It's going to be that center exchange, and how's he going to cope with that? But being that high, look, the NFL is a win-now league, right? So they've been spending, and they were so close, right? You're trying to find those final pieces to get to that Super Bowl. They didn't get there, and now they're way over, and now they've got to purge it all. So he's really going to have to put the whole load on his shoulders this upcoming season.
AB, if you were a Buffalo Bills fan, and I mean, God bless living over there. It's like they live on the wall from Game of Thrones. I mean, you see the weather over there. If you were a Buffalo Bills fan, are you worried right now about this team moving forward?
A little bit, right? Like, I don't know if worried would be the word, but I'm noticing, right? Like, I mean, we saw, the defense loses players to injury last year towards the playoff run. And obviously, I mean, they had a good season, but they have higher aspirations. And I think that, Chris just nailed it right there in regards to Mitch Morse. I mean, that's a large loss, especially when it's a center that Josh has had his entire career. Can you replace a center? Yeah, for sure. Could Josh be prepared for a new one? Yeah, for sure. But, you saw coming into the year, they were, $40 million over the cap. They're losing good players, man. It's tough. And that's the most difficult part about the NFL is that I saw it here with the Tennessee Titans. Like the general manager, John Robinson, for 3-4 years was doing a phenomenal job. Bring in Mike Vrabel. It all came together. All right. Number one in the AFC, ready to go, get to the AFC Championship. Dude, that feels like forever ago. Vrabel's gone, the GM's gone, the entire team is gone. Derrick Henry's not here, Ryan Tannehill's not here. Like, that was only 3.5 years ago, right? Like, it's not that long. So, yeah, man, like, you just hate to see, starters that are leaving. You got to replace them.
I don't trust Josh Allen. I don't trust him in a big spot, as Chris mentioned, the decision-making, the turnovers. Now, full disclosure, all right, I'm here in Miami. I'm a Dolphin fan. the Buffalo Bills get no love in the Zaslow Mansion. So, I mean, full disclosure, I'm not going to say very many nice things about him, but I'm watching those playoff games, and specifically the final playoff game against Kansas City where Buffalo loses, and they looked like a team that did not trust their quarterback. You know, it was a lot of dinking and dunking. It wasn't high-risk plays. I don't think they trust Josh Allen in big spots because of the decision-making, because the turnovers. I mean, I know they had that big throw downfield to Stephon Diggs that went right through his hands. That's obviously not Josh Allen's fault. But otherwise, I don't know if the Buffalo Bills entirely trust Josh Allen. And that's the thing to me, Chris, that if we're talking about Josh Allen being an elite quarterback, I mean, what are we doing here then, you know?
Right. I mean, that's what really makes the guys that are elite, right? You look at your Tom Brady's, who else? Your Drew Breeses, your Peyton Mannings. Those guys, when the game is on the line, can I trust you to do what I need you to do? Whether that is 5-yard screens or throwing the ball downfield, are you going to make that right decision? Are you going to see, the right play and not try and force something in for a game-ending interception?
So it gave you a little bit there on what's going on with the NFL. That was a bit of a surprise yesterday with all those cuts from the Buffalo Bills. If we could turn the page here real quick to the NBA, guys. The Golden State Warriors, last night, I mean, they whipped the Milwaukee Bucks. And it's the biggest turnaround, the biggest two-game turnaround, AB, in NBA history. 87 points. They lost by 52 at the Boston Celtics. And then the very next game, won by 35 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Biggest turnaround ever. 87-point swing for the Warriors. Do you believe in this Warrior team, AB?
I do. Now, first off in the chat, Zaz, I believe you're going to find a fellow compadre there in Melanie Sue with your Dolphins. So there you go on that one. Look, man, the NBA is, we hear about how they're going to fix the All-Star game. What are they going to do with it? This season has been odd, and you have, the load management situation. You had the in-season tournament, and we've seen teams that have been severely blown out because they just stop, right? And I hate using the quit word, so I'm not going to use that, but it's too much. It's too much. It's not good for the game. I don't have a fix, and I'm not trying to make it, a bigger deal, but there's an issue with that. But as for the Warriors, I absolutely do believe in them. I feel that they are just like the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been there before. They've done this. They have leadership. They have almost everybody on that roster has rings, plural, right? And you have a motivated Klay Thompson coming off the bench. Like, they have all the pieces there to make a run. If I were in the Western Conference, in the playoffs, dude, I don't want to face them. I don't want to face them at all.
Chris, are you in on this Warriors team? I mean, outside of that, 600-point loss to the Boston Celtics, they've been playing really well over pretty much last month.
Yeah, just to follow up on what AB said, they are a great coached team. Shooter's going to shoot, right? And so they're as hot as they are going to be shooting. They're not a team that's really going to pound you down low every single night. And it's going to be, like you said, are you going to stop playing, or are you going to run with them all day and get out on those threes and just be able to handle them defensively? Of course they're a threat. Any team that has the ability to shoot the way that the Warriors do is always going to be a threat. They play decent team defense, but they're a shooting team, and you've got to be on the lookout for something like that. You've got to play the whole 48 minutes against them.
I got one more for you here, guys, essentially on the Warriors. If you look in the Western Conference and the play-in spots, that's 7 through 10, the Warriors and Lakers have been stuck in that 9-10 seemingly all season, all right? They're only a couple games back of number 6, which is an outright playoff spot, but the Warriors and Lakers right now are 9 and 10. AB, do you think the NBA looks at that and loves the idea of a do-or-die play-in game between the Warriors and Lakers, or do they cringe at it because it means one of them will miss the playoffs outright?
Both. That's a great question. It's an excellent question, both, because you're going to get really, really high ratings if you get that play-in game, between each other. But you're right. You're knocking out a blue blood, guaranteed TV draw team, right? Like, it's difficult. That being said, you know what? I think it's better off to have that in the play-in game, because you'll make it up in the ratings because the NBA playoffs are fantastic. I give them that. The NBA playoffs are a ton of fun, and you get really high viewership for a good reason. But yeah, man, that's an excellent question. It's kind of like chicken and egg. Which one would you rather have? Where does it begin, right? So, yeah. Good one.
Chris, what do you make of it? You think the NBA likes it or they don't?
I mean, again, it's both, but honestly, I feel that they really want both of those teams in the playoffs. I mean, the West is a deep conference again this year. You're going to have some great games, and like AB said, the playoffs, they're the most exciting thing in basketball. Nobody's really watching the regular season except us who's making bets every night. But yeah, I think it's one of those catch-22s. You want it, but you don't. So we'll see where it ends up. But I mean, that would be an amazing playoff. Steph Curry or LeBron, who's going to the playoffs?
Now, finally here, guys, for Educate and Entertain, we got one more for you here. This was just announced this morning, within the last hour and a half. Mr. Producer Man, hit it. That's right. How about that? July 20th, only on Netflix, live. You got Jake Paul, Mike Tyson going at it from AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. So which is more interesting to you here, AB? The fact that we're getting Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, or that this is streaming live on Netflix?
The Netflix part. Right now, I get what this fight is, right? I get it. It's a promotion. It's built for TV. But what I'm fascinated about, yes, is the Netflix, the Amazons of the world that are getting into boxing. Call this one what you will, because the sport is hurting and it needs stars fighting for something. Like, this isn't that fight. However, it's good because you're going to reach a larger audience and just getting the sport in whatever form that it is out there. It fascinates me to see more and more that Netflix and Amazon, even though those are premium subscribed channels, still it's an easier digestible barrier to entry than pay-per-view is. So that part fascinates me the fullest because they're not going to stop here. They're going to keep going, and that's a good thing for the sport.
And, of course, WWE Monday Night Raw is moving to Netflix starting the end of this year, maybe the beginning of 25. So, yeah, this is something that there is no stopping this train. Live sports is going to be more and more on these premium services. Chris, is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson something that interests you?
Only if Mike Tyson hits him with that uppercut hook combo and lays him flat out. I want to see Jake Paul just go away. I know he's trying to make boxing a career, but fighting old MMA guys and boxers who are just I don't know. I'm going to watch it because I'm a huge Mike Tyson fan. And again, I want to see Jake Paul get left just laid out. But just to double down on AB, I think these streaming services, I mean, that's where the money's at in TV right now, is these Hulus, the Amazons, the Netflix. And so I think it's a great move for them. I would never buy this on pay-per-view, but how many people already have a Netflix subscription I'm going to tune in and watch?
Hey, real quick, Zaz, not to interrupt you. Chris just said it right there, all right? I'm going to watch it because you have Netflix and you're going to turn it on. That's exactly it, is that the barrier to entry is so much larger now. Here's the thing, though. If it turns into just an absolute crap fest of a fight that it's just awful, it's going to hurt the sport. It's going to hurt it big time. And Netflix and Amazon, they will all pay attention to it. So they do need it to be entertaining. Doesn't mean it's going to be, a 1980s, back in the day heavyweight title fight, right? It's not going to be that, but they just need it to be entertaining. But I just wanted to highlight what Chris said right there. I'm going to watch it because I have Netflix. 100%, man. That's why they're doing it, and that is what will draw numbers.
I don't like boxing anymore, but I loved it growing up. It was such a big deal growing up, late 80s into the 90s, and of course Mike Tyson. To be able to explain to this generation of sports fans or even boxing fans what it was like to watch a Tyson pay-per-view fight. I think I'd have trouble explaining what that excitement level is like. Like, Chris, do you remember Tyson's fights? There was one time where because he would end the fight so early, people were mad that they would pay money on pay-per-view, that they tried out one time that you would pay per round depending on how far the fight goes. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, it was wild because, his fights, early 80s, we're what, a minute 30 in, a minute 40 in. Maybe we're hitting that 2-minute mark. So, yeah. I was one of those guys who's like, come on, really? I just dropped this money on this fight, and it's over already. But, hey, you got to watch the undercards. Those are always entertaining, too.
I remember being a kid, and, we would get the fight, and what you said, it would end in a minute. And I remember I would hear my dad scream from the kitchen or what the hell did I just pay for? You know what I mean? You're 100% right, man. I'm so glad that you brought that one up. Also, Daniel Kemp, welcome to the crew, man. Thank you very much.
But like Zaz said, that level of entertainment, that's what boxing was. You didn't you knew Tyson, it was going to be quick and done, right? But the other fights also entertaining. You got guys just standing there toe to toe, pounding on each other, and we just don't really have that in boxing right now. Like you said, it's really gone down.
I'm into it, and I love how I'm a Netflix subscriber. It's on Netflix. I get it. I'm definitely watching. So that's July 20th. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, live on Netflix. This has been the educate and entertain portion of Driving the Line. Again, want to remind everybody, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, all the notifications, so you're always aware anytime anything drops here on Driving the Line. Let's bring everybody back. It's time for the whip around. There we go. A bunch of beautiful faces back on the screen. Everybody is together again. Let's get to the whip around here. Jacob, why don't you get us started here? Remind everybody, or for the folks who are just tuning in right now this morning, what we got on tap today.
Yeah, my first play, I'm on Benfica, Rangers, both teams to score yes. I have a 2-leg parlay, Ajax, Aston Villa, both teams to score yes, with Olympiacos, Maccabi Tel Aviv over 2. And I had one play I missed earlier, Nashville Predators minus 150 tonight on a back-to-back versus Buffalo. They're taking on Eric Comrie, just 1-7, allowing 3.87 goals a game. Lost his last 6. Take Nashville tonight at minus 150.
Excellent. Charles, let's keep it rolling. What do you got?
Yeah, Europa Conference League, Ajax, Aston Villa over 3 full-time goals, and Ollie Watkins anytime goal score. Union SG, Fenerbahce, both teams to score, and Fenerbahce on the double chance.
All right, so let's move it over. Chris, why don't you tell us what you got here? Come on.
Yeah, we got Jimmy Butler over 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Flyers, Panthers over 5.5 goals tonight, and Predators to score in the first period in that Buffalo game. I think I said Edmonton earlier, but yes, that's Nashville, Buffalo, Predators over 1 in the first.
And you see Howie Schwab sent in his picks. Canisius plus 8.5. Iona minus 7. Cleveland State plus 8.5. I got the big NBA game tonight. The Nuggets are hosting the Celtics. I like the Nuggets laying a point. I also like Nikola Jokic triple-double plus 145. The coach, he checked in with us. He's got Jake Knapp. He's got some first-round action on the PGA. Jake Knapp plus 110 over Justin Thomas. Corey Connors minus 130 over Eric Cole. AB, you're up.
All right, one play, an NBA threes parlay, 3 legs, put them together at plus 140. Nikola Jokic, 1+3. Jimmy Butler, 1+3. Michael Porter, 2+3s. That's it. That's all we need. We're not asking for much. Those 3 together at plus 140. Also in the chat, we were asked about college baseball today, and specifically, number 1, why aren't there any plays? Well, there are only like 3 or 4 games today. Slate is tough, but we were asked about Oregon State and UC Irvine, I believe, in a parlay. Oregon State's really good playing against Cal State Northridge, I believe, today, who is a low-key, very good baseball team. All depends on how Oregon State will treat this game before the series this weekend. But I don't hate it. Also, fascinating little nugget here. Gonzaga baseball. All right, it's March 7th. Most teams have played 11 to 13, almost 14 games. This is Gonzaga's first home game all season. Their first home game. Poor guys, they're 1-9.
I've never seen or heard of anyone who handicaps the college baseball. the way AB does. I feel good about today's picks, guys. I think we're
Me
going
and
to look
Bastard are
back at
just
it
gonna,
tomorrow
dude, we're
morning.
just going to get going on the weekends. I can't wait. So
I mean, seriously, I feel like we're going to look back tomorrow morning. We got a bunch of green check marks. Great job, you guys, this morning. We got everything in. Let's see what the crew chose. It's time for the closing bell. All right, AB, we're all in it together here. What do we got?
Well, we've had some issues with the voting, all right? It is seeing some really odd, it's just not showing up. I've never seen YouTube do this before. Pull that back up. This is what we're going to do. All right, Washington State looks to be the option that the crew has chosen. So we're going to go Washington State as the crew's choice, -6.5. We will get something fun tomorrow if Washington State does not cover for the crew tonight. So let me look at it, figure out what in the world YouTube is doing this morning. But Washington State -6.5 is the choice.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we're all in it together then. All right, Washington State -6.5. That's the play. All right, that's the crew play of the day. We're all in it together. Now, of course, we got Shoot Your Shot coming up. All right, that's where the crew can be a part of the show. Tell everybody, AB, on how folks can participate.
Absolutely. So it's for premium members only. You can join. You can see literally join right below the show here on YouTube. Click that or go to the show description and click that link. And yes, Shoot Your Shot. It is where Coach and myself turn the show over to you. We produce it for you. You are the expert. You make the picks. We sit back. We have a good, fun time. Crack a cold one or two. Enjoy it. Cut up. Chop it up. It's a ton of fun.
Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you subscribe. You got the notifications on. You tell your friends about Driving the Line. You tell your mother I say hello. AB, did we leave anything out there?
Nope. You nailed it, my man. A+ again. Well done.
Thank you guys for having me. Of course, I'm sitting in for Coach today, who will be back tomorrow. Thanks to everybody who hung out with us today. Of course, we got Chris and Charles and Jacob, my man AB. Coach stepping in for a moment. You got the picks from all of us for tonight. We got the crew play of the day. You guys know it. The only thing left is to make that money. That's what we're all talking about. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Coach will be back in the driver's seat tomorrow morning on another edition of Driving the Line. See ya.